Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the start of a brand new chapter in SFR tonight. We open the curtain on Season 18 with a trip to the most iconic and demanding circuits on the calendar. The legendary circuit Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, a track steeped in history, drama, and pure adrenaline. It's the perfect stage to kick off the new campaign with a 7-kilometer track, and it is raining already, just like it was, I think, in last night's qualifying in Division 2. It didn't rain all the way through, but there were still drops on the circuit, and we know this track is known for its weather. The Ardent Forest around here in Belgium, which rains quite a lot around here, and hopefully it won't be red flagged like it was at the actual F1 Belgium Grand Prix 2. 7 kilometres, there's only 15 drivers here tonight, which is a shame and disappointing, but hopefully more will arrive on the scene next calendar as well, or next race in the second race of the season. But I can't wait to see what happens this season, because last season it was Kaname who won the championship at the British GP, and the championship was super close throughout every single race as well. It kept changing and mixing around, but eventually Kaname was the one that came out on top, and therefore became the champion of last season in Season 17 with a commanding and drive. Not dominant, but commanding, consistent, and in the Alpine this season, it is Jensen as well. So Jensen will be fulfilling the Alpine seat this season, and he's got a lot of his hands as well. The man that took 3 wins, and he also won the British GP last season too, to take the final race of the season. But let's see then what happens. It rained, I think in Britain or Silverstone last season, but here as well, in a brand new season, it's raining here too. So what a way to start it and end it as well, to a brand new campaign here in SFR. So like I mentioned, Kaname was the champion with 269 points. 1 win only for the Alpine driver, just 1 win and 7 podiums. The title was claimed with sheer consistency, keeping mistakes to a minimum across the season. And Las Vegas was the race where things went down the drain for him, because it looked like for a certainty that loads of points were going to be lost as well, and therefore Fireblaze with the advantage. Runner up in second place was Fireblaze, just 3 points adrift, and he was 266, no wins but 3 podiums, showing that relentless point scoring can almost win a championship as well. Third place was Laser with 249 points, 1 win and 3 podiums. His last win was at the Canadian Grand Prix, and constant podium threats in the early season, keeping himself in title contention until late on as well. But we're on board with the Alpine driver. This track is 7 kilometers long as well. Alpine were the ones that took the Constructors' Championship as well. So let's see then, can they continue their form? There are 2 strong drivers in the name of racing and Kaname, but both drivers aren't here tonight, unfortunately. So let's see if they do return. Kaname will return. We heard what he had to say as well. And here comes Jensen around the bus stop chicane to start applying lap around here in Belgium. So on the throttle then, as we open up a lap around here at the 70-kilometer track in towards turn 1, a heavy braking zone. These drivers might be precarious, might be a bit nervous as well in terms of these conditions, trying to find the limits of the track. This first lap will be an exploratory lap time for Jensen, because he doesn't want to push too hard, doesn't want to push the limits around the circuit at the early stages as well, because he doesn't know where the grip is, and it's so difficult in these wet conditions as he climbs through Eau Rouge and Radion, and now heading down towards the Kemmel Straight, where plenty of overtaking should happen as we head down towards the Com section. 33.1 in the first sector as he just navigates his way through Le Com. He goes there, just barely tinkering the throttle there, just trying to be as cautious as he possibly can as we head down into towards Lafarge we go. Just being very careful as well, just tiptoeing on the throttle there, making sure he doesn't have massive wheel spin. Now coming towards Jackie's corner, a bit of hesitation going towards the left-hander there, but on the curve on the outside as we power our way down in towards P1 we go. It is flat out in these dry conditions, but as you can see, not flat out here at all, as he was a bit cautious going towards that one. He went a bit deep as well in towards P1, doesn't really hook up the apex as we head now in towards the final chicane. He goes, just barely lifting the throttle there as well, trying to make traction, making sure he points the car in the right direction as we head towards Stavelo we go. It's 27.6 in the first sector there for Jensen, but I can't exactly remember what that corner is called before Stavelo. It does have a name, I think it's called Campus Corner, so I'm going to call it Campus Corner for now, as Jensen then continues to drive in towards Blanchimont. Should be a flat out corner in these conditions, it is, as he makes his way down towards the Boston chicane. Briggs before the 100-meter board, down in towards second gear we go, just being very careful as well in towards the slow speed corners where it's very easy to lose back in the car as well. It's a heavy traction zone and the first lap time on the board is going to be a 58.857, and that solidifies first place for the time being then. But let's see if anybody else out there is improving. We've got Mr. Joker in the racing ball, and he was teammates, I think, with the other Yusuf. As Vettel goes quickest, it's a 58.683, as Rising Star goes quickest for Racing Bull, a man who was in Mercedes last season and teammates with Jensen, but now those two have gone their different ways. Here comes Yusuf towards the line, he goes up into P2. I believe Yusuf came second place at the Belgian Grand Prix last season in Division 2, as Fireplace goes up into P2. It was the Yusuf 1-2, if I remember correctly, in the Racing Bull, and once again, Yusuf showing some incredible pace, as Dominic in the Red Bull, he raced the last 3 races of the season. Last season, no one goes quickest, and he's still searching for his first win of the season. Actually, his first win in his SFR career so far. Hasn't got that win just yet. It was snatched away from him at the Chinese Grand Prix. He did have blistering pace as Romavaj goes up into P9 there for the Aston Martin team. He did have blistering pace as he slides in towards turn 1, but unfortunately just could not get the win, and he gave up halfway through too. He gave up towards the latter end of the season. For Lotte Jr., who is another consistent quick driver too, he's had his moments as well back in Division 2 last season. He really showed his mettle and what he's capable of as well. And he finished second place in the championship, just behind Burmeister. And Amino goes quickest in the Ferrari with a 56.225, another newcomer. Here comes the other Ferrari, he goes up into P3, so it's a Ferrari 1-3, and both of them showing some great pace in the 56 as well. So will it stay wet in this qualifying session, or will it get dry? We know what Belgium's like, it has mixed changeable conditions, and it could prove uncertainty as well. Never know what the conditions could throw at you here in Belgium. But I do know as well, back at the race, the Belgian Grand Prix was a bit boring. We should have started it ages ago, because the FIA just waited for so long for the track just to be bone dry basically, and that was it. We had like 8-10 laps of the intermediates, and that was it. And after that, it was pretty much a boring race, to be honest with you. Oscar Piastri claiming his 8th win in his career as Simon heads down towards the bus stop chicane, where it rained back in 2010. Rubens Barrichello hit the back of Fernando Alonso. Simon towards the line, but clearly not a representative at that time either, as we're on board with Glock, then the man that's taking victories here in SFR, and he's fought well hard against the likes of MDJ, Hurricane and others as well. He's taking victories. Last season was a bit difficult for him as well. We saw him just struggling on last game, and hopefully in this game he's really found something too, because he is a quick driver, but unfortunately just suffered a few moments. Scored 40 points, no podiums, no wins as well, and his best race was back at the Chinese Grand Prix. Other than that, he's just been outside the top 10 most of the time, has Glock. But here he is towards the final two corners. He goes, let's see what the Kickstarter could do as he makes his way out of the final corner. But he's not on a representative lap time. It's P40 for him then, so maybe just doing more and more laps to try and get comfortable for the track. Of course, as well, in the wet conditions, you could circulate around as well if you have the fuel on board, because the intermediates don't wear as much in qualifying. The temperature doesn't skyrocket like the soft compound tyre, so you could go for more pull-up times as well. Plus, you just need to watch out for your battery as well, as we head down in towards P1 for the Haas driver of Vettel. Well, Vettel's been around in 23 and 24. He hasn't really stuck to SFR that much. Taking part in 2-3 races, hasn't really had the best results either. Has Vettel, but he's came back to league racing. Of course, his sister, of Ellie, has taken a few podiums in Division 3 and a win as well. But let's see if the brother of Nathan can try and take a victory here in SFR as well. Had blistering pace as well games ago, but he didn't have time for the F1 games. But he's back as he heads towards Blanchimont. He goes in 8th gear, flat out of course, so has the confidence to be able to do that, as we now head towards the Boston chicane. Down through the gears he goes, slow the car all the way down, making sure you don't go deep towards that corner because it will compromise you. On the exits, Rising Star goes quickest by a milestone. Here comes Nathan towards the line. Nathan goes up into P2, but Rising Star obliterates that lap time with a 54.620. And he clearly has the confidence as well in the Racing Bull to put that car in first place by a milestone. It's a Racing Bull 1-2 with Yusuf Farouk going up into P2 with a 55.018, as Dominic goes into P3 as Nordis goes quicker with a 54.1, and the times keep tumbling down. Every single driver then finding the grip and the limits around here, around this wet track as well. And let's see if anybody else can improve too. Simon is up to P5 in the Alpine. in the Williams, shall I say, so he'd be very happy with that lap time. As the Ferrari is 1.6 seconds quicker as somebody else has got up the order. It was Glock. Glock goes up into P5 with a 55.2. And now we watch the Ferrari driver as he heads down towards the Boston chicane and heavy braker zone, and the tyres will be screaming hot as well at that stage as he makes his way out of the final corner. Let's see, is it a clean exit? It is, as he goes towards the line, and he's quicker by over a tenth of a second. Jean's crashed as well, or has he crashed? Or he has retired in the pit lane, I think, so he's out of qualifying, unfortunately. Not quite sure what happened to him. It is so hot as well here in my room. It's a small room, and it is very hot indeed. So that's why I have the fan on the background. Apologies if you do hear the fan, but I can't help it. It's just so hot as well. So let's see if anybody else is on a flying lap time so far. As Fallogio Jr. up into P3 in the Ferrari has improved. Norris is not on a lap time either. What about the other Ferrari? Is he on a lap time? Nope. So it looks like some drivers are settling down. But I wonder how much the track will evolve as well. Is it getting lighter? Is the track getting better as well? Because sometimes it's not always a full wet session. It can transpire in towards a dry, but is it going to be dry at any point in qualifying? And if it is, it could be a one-shot qualifying as well, just like 2013 when all the drivers there. Well, I don't think he fully dried in 2013, but it got lighter and lighter, and Hamilton took pole at the 2013 Belgium Grand Prix as the times kept tumbling down as well, as the drivers waited to go from wets to inters, and some people made the right decision to go on the intermediate compound tyres, like Paul Di Resta was one of them, but I think he's fell down to P5. But unfortunately retired in the race after Pastor Maldonado took him out as well. But here comes Burmeister. Division 2's champion is here as he makes his way towards the line. He goes up into P5. He was so dominant as well, had relentless pace and consistency to go with it too. He's up into P5 in the Williams. Let's see what Division 2 champion can do around here. Adams has been promoted up into Division 1 as well. Here he is in the Mercedes. Let's see his middle sector. As Mercedes driver of Adams can be very quick as well on his day. We've seen the best of him, we've seen the worst of him. He's like a yo-yo. He's up and down all the time in every single race. You never know what Adams does in each race. It's just unpredictable sometimes. But I think back at the Chinese Grand Prix and Miami as well, he really showed. Belgium, I think he scored a podium here last season in Belgium, if I'm not mistaken. I think he has some really good pace around here too. As he makes his way towards the Boston chicane. I think he scored P3 at the Belgian Grand Prix, P4 at best. But here comes Adams towards the line. He goes up into P5 inside the top 5. So that is a handy, good lap time there for a man who struggled and lost motivation in Division 2 last season. But promoted up to Division 1 is a massive step to be amongst the best drivers, the high top tier caliber drivers as well, to be competing with them. As here comes Jensen, has a massive slide out of the Varge, going towards Jackie Itt's corner there, but still keeps it on the track and also pointing in the right direction as he heads down towards P1 Ned. So a bit of an iffy moment there for Jensen. He was 5/10 up in the first sector, but I wonder if he has lost some of that time he gained as he makes his way down towards the final chicane. They just open up the corner here as well, carrying him in the speed all the way through. Just be very careful. The inside as Romovage goes quickest. It's a 54.029, and he's quicker than Amino by about 700ths of a second there. But here comes Jensen in the middle sector, 3 seconds up. But of course, that's his personal best. Oh, goes off the track in towards Stavolo, and he keeps going. Not invalidated his lap time there, just Jensen. But Fireblaze and Jensen are both teammates, and they're down there in 13th and 14th place then. So Jensen has had a few excursions on this lap, but he still keeps going as he makes his way down towards the Boston chicane. The track does look better than before, but he's in the pit lane then, so he's not satisfied with that lap time. And I think he's going to put on a brand new set of the Inter tyres. So pole belongs to this man, Romovage, who is back this season. I don't think he raced at all last season, to be honest with you. Maybe he appeared once or twice, but wasn't really in the mix. So it's nice to see him back. I remember his drives in season 16 when he came from the back of the field at Imola, scoring P3. He's had some mighty podiums as well and some good results, but it's a shame he left quite early. He took part in 2 races last season, but he DNF'd in both of them. So, yeah, Romovage didn't really show what he could have done. But in my eyes, he's still a really quick driver. And in season 16, it proved to be as well. Remember him taking poles, getting those podiums. He's always up there, was Romovage. Had some difficult moments as well during his time. But he was a reserve as well in season 16. He had 1 win and 4 podiums. He won back at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix with a fantastic victory. But after that, he had to go because he had commitments as well. But he scored 4 podiums as well in the likes of Australia and Imola as well, and Miami. But after the Spanish Grand Prix in 2016, for some reason he had to leave. And he's back now, and I really hope we can see what he could do as well. Rise to the Star is on the Camel Straight, and his progress as well in season 17. He did struggle in the race pace. I remember his qualifying pace was always there. He was always contender for pole. But when it came to the races, he just dropped backwards. He had no grip. I wonder if the setup as well wasn't suited towards the race setup, more towards qualifying, and therefore his time management wasn't really as sufficient as other people. But he has backed off despite being 5/10 of the first sector. He did make a mistake at the top of Lacombe, so he's backed off, saved the battery, cool the tyres down, and go for it again. But so far, it is the Aston Martin of Ramavac who's on pole for the time being. But the track looks like he's getting better and more grip as the track continues to evolve. Drivers continue to find more and more confidence, knowing when to push as well and where to push around this track. But we've got most people on their outlaps. Here comes Yusuf down in towards La Source we go, where contact has been made plenty of times in towards turn 1, but massive oversteer at the exit of the first corner, which means he's going to lose a lot of time all the way down this straight. And he's still going. I would have thought he backed off, but he's still going for that lap time as well. It is so infuriating and just disappointing, really, for him. Well, it is so, what was I going to say? Furious. Not furious, what was I going to say? I don't know what I was going to say there. I completely lost it. But Yusuf's still 2/10 of the first sector. It is so annoying, that's what I like to say, when you make a mistake towards turn 1, because that basically ruins your whole lap as well. Like, it's making a mistake in the first corner and you got to wait again. But he's still pushing, he's still going on. Is the racing board driver, so just continue to find the lap time there. But majority of people on the outer laps, we've got majority of people as well out on the circuit, except Yoram, who has retired possibly in the pit lane, I want to say. Yoram, of course, was a Division 2 driver, and he was very quick as well on his days. The first part of the season where he really showed some promising performances, but it just went backwards since then. I think a lot of drivers in this division have got a lot of strengths and weaknesses, a lot of potential, but sometimes it depends on track as well, the confidence as well, and what happens in the last race. Because like they say, you're as good as your last race, as Yusuf is 2.2 up in the middle sector already. That's a mighty middle sector. This could take pole. I think track evolution is kicking in. The track is getting better and better, but I don't think, obviously, we're going to go towards the soft power tyres as he goes flat tyres towards Blanchimon. This is potentially his last lap as well, because there's 50 seconds left on the clock. He does have a qualifying ban. I read that in the chat. For some reason I forgot, so apologies about that. But here comes Yusuf towards the final corner. This is going to be on pole as he crosses the line at 52.384. Mega lap time there from Yusuf, as everybody else is on the brand new set of soccer powered tyres. But I dare say that'll be obliterated because he made a mistake towards turn 1. Notice already he's 5/10 from the first sector. The track is getting better. These drivers are finding more grip out there on the circuit too. 25 seconds left to go on the clock. We've got every single driver out there on the lap time so far. Let's see who we're going to go on board with. I'm going to go on board with Glock or stay on board with him. He's currently, let's see, middle sector, 1.8 seconds up as well. So that's a mighty middle sector there. This could put him in the 53s, I think. So I think he needs to find more time in the last sector, does Glock, to be up there in contention with the rest of the field. But qualifying has been commenced, and Ramavac did not make the line. He's at the bus stop chicane. His qualifying is done and dusted, and P2 will be his best. He's left it too late, and unfortunately he might drop down the order dramatically as well. Here comes Glock out of the final two corners, gets a lovely exit. He crossed the line now to go up into P2 with a 52.9, and he's somewhat 6-7 tenths away from Yusuf in first place. But we still got our other competitors out there as well. Amino is 1.5 seconds up in the middle sector as Dominic goes quickest with a 52.2. And he's currently a 10th quicker. But here comes Lourdes now towards the final corner as Jensen goes P3. But here comes Lourdes out the final corner. Where can he go? And it's pole! It's a 51.949. And Lourdes takes provisional pole. Vettel's crashed at the exit of Stavolo. He is out of qualifying. But is there anybody else who can beat him? Here comes Amino. Amino goes up into P3 in the Ferrari with a 52.2. And Lourdes starts the campaign to the best possible opportunity as well for him. And Glock goes P6, Yusuf P4, Jensen P5, and Velocio Jr. is next. And Rising Star goes to P2. Incredible close time there in these wet conditions. This track is 7 kilometers long, and they're so close together indeed. And here comes Velocio Jr. now coming towards the final circle. Let's see what the Division 2 driver could do last season. takes the corners very nicely, gets on the power with no real spin. Here he is towards the line, and it's pole! He takes it away! He has taken pole at the very last second there. It's a 51.895, and he's clear of notice. Samet goes up into P4, and that was such an incredible qualified session indeed. Very intriguing. We didn't know what was going to happen, but it's a Ferrari on pole here in Belgium, and it's Velocio Jr. at his home Grand Prix as well. What a way to start it off at his home Grand Prix, Velocio Jr. He hopefully knows what it's like to race around in the rain because he lives in Belgium. That's part of the world, experiences a lot of rain and downpour as well. Notice in P2, rise to start P3, separated by under 700ths of a second there between the top three. Samet in P4, great result for him. Dominate the German in P5 ahead of Amino in P6, or Amin, shall I say, because it's O3 at the end of his name. Yusuf P7 ahead of Jensen, Glock, Adams, Burmeister, Romovaj, Levetor, Fireblaze, and Yarum. Fireblaze are validated. Unfortunately, we'll start on a P14. It's nice and sunny for the drivers here in Spa, and they have new sets of the soft compound tyres, but you don't want to use them unless there's a safety car literally towards the end of the Grand Prix, because the softs will be chewed up literally as well. They'll be eaten alive around this race circuit, and it'll barely last 5 or 6 laps as well. So let's see then what happens here in Belgium. Is it a medium to hard speed? It is a one-stop strategy. You do not want to be doing a 2-stop around this track, or any track really. It depends if you can help it. It's all about your setup. It's all about how you manage your tyres in the first stint, because if you take too much out in the first stint, then you're paying the price towards the end. You don't want to pit too early. The undercut will happen, but how early do you want to pit as well? Because the tyres are very delicate. The tyre life is very high on this game as well. So you just got to manage in the first stint, pick your moments at the right time, and see when you can attack as well. But we'll see what these drivers could do. Let's see if the practice pays handy for the race. And last time out at the Belgian Grand Prix, I think it was a very good race as well, because I think, who was it who won? I think it was Hazara who won, coming from the back of the field as well, trying to attack Hurricane and Laser. Hazara was taking victory around here in Belgium plenty of times as well, from starts to the back of the field. I think that was last season when that happened. In fact, it was Kaname who won. Yeah, Kaname won the Belgian Grand Prix. It was his one and only win last season in Belgium. That's the only time he ever won, because he's had one win and he's still won the championship. That's just incredible. And Fireblaze, who finished P2, had 0 wins and finished P2, only a few points behind Kaname in the championship too. It really tells you that being consistent as well, turn up to every race, scoring a top 5 finish can get you somewhere. It's not all about winning, it's about taking part and being consistent, but of course it really helps if you win and score multiple podiums, because actually the man with the most wins last season was Volokongan with 4, Oscar with 3, Hazara with 2, and Crossfire Strikes with 1. They're reserve drivers, and Volokongan took 4 victories as well every time he took part. Him and Oscar and Hazara were a mighty force to be reckoned with as well. But unfortunately in this present time, we do not have Kaname. Laser is not here either. Hurricane is not here, which is a shame. I really hope he does come back. We're missing Dragon. We're missing Racing Imola. Langfell's not here. Hussein, Berami, Nico is not here too. Pocket Valley guy, unfortunately. So we're missing a lot of people. It's a massive shame, because we've created so many memories in the past few seasons with all those names. And I really hope they come back as well. Hopefully it's just a summer thing, because it's peak July, or peak summer, shall I say. So a lot of people will be on holiday at this time of the year. So hopefully they enjoy the holiday and we could come back. That's why it's a bit, yeah, that's why it's a bit, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to say there, but we're going to focus on the race. That's why it's a bit sceptical start to the season in summer, but at the same time, though, we pay the consequences. The formation lab will be on as well. Some leagues do not have the formation lab, so we've got to pay attention to see which ones do and which ones doesn't. So let's see the tyre compounds for every single driver, and everybody is on the mediums except a few people on the hard compound tyres, which is Yarum, Vettel, Burmeister, and Amin in P16. Amin on the hard compound tyres, going to take them for a long way, and both Ferraris as well have split the strategies, so this could be an interesting race in terms of strategies, and the tyre management will be very important for this race as well, because it's a high-speed circuit, of course, long corners which take a lot of load of the tyre, a lot of energy, a lot of force, a lot of pressure will be put into the tyres in the high-speed corners, and therefore in the first stint the people got to manage it really well. Of course, I'm the solo commentator, so I'm going to have to take you all through the 22-lap race around here. But Volochev Jr., I really hope he knows that pushing hard on these tyres will pay the price as well, because if you push the formation lap, it still counts. You have tyre on the formation lap too, so just be careful, just treat them nice on the formation lap. It's all about warming your tyres up as well, get them up to temperature and ready for the race. But it's going to be an interesting run down towards turn 1, I think it is anyway. Let me just get a quick glass of water before I forget, because sometimes I forget to drink water and therefore my throat goes. It's a great statement for Volochev Jr. in first place. A Division 2 driver from last season, now been pushed into the big leagues amongst the big boys. And we'll see if he has the pace to match them. But let's see what happens here at the Belgian Grand Prix. It's a 22-lap race. I'm about to find out as the lights will go off anytime soon. It's a brand new season, brand new start, new opportunities arise. And we'll see what happens going down towards turn 1. The lights on the panels. We're underway for the Belgian Grand Prix for the first race of the season. Let's see who gets a better start. Both of them, first and second, level pegging as we head down in towards turn 1. We go. The Williams up the inside, in towards turn 1. There's contact there between three of them, but they get out unscathed. And look at this, Nordis is right behind Volochev Jr. like Oscar Piastri on Sunday. Can Nordis get ahead with the slipstream? And hopefully Volochev Jr. has the battery too to go with it. But we climb through Eau Rouge and Radio we go. And Nordis is right there in the slipstream. He pulls out to the left-hand side. Will he take the lead of the Grand Prix? They're both level pegging as we head down in towards the com. Who is last of the brakes? In towards the com we go. Volochev Jr. stays in the lead. There's contact right to start. Here comes Dominic on the outside. The Williams out of shape. That's Samir, who's out of shape, but gets back on his momentum immediately. And Mohamed is in P6 there on the hardcore power tyres. And Harry Kane is in the chat. Welcome, mate. I really hope to see you racing this season. I miss you a lot. As we see Glock there in a fight with Adams and Romovac as we go through Jackie's corner. But so far, it's Volochev Jr. in first place, right behind his Rising Star and a Dominate 2 with Samir in P5. It seems like a clean start so far from everybody as Jean gets ahead of Vettel there, going towards Puma, but they both off the track there as well as we now head towards the final chicane. Harry Kane, he says, on vacation, mate, so I hope you enjoy your vacation wherever you go and whatever you're doing. And it would be nice to see you back as well. As we now head on towards Stavolo we go. It is Volochev Jr. who leads this Grand Prix with Norris of P2, Rising Star P3. I think it was a case where back in 2017, Sebastian Vettel was right behind Hamilton. Did Norris pull out too late? I'm not quite sure. But Rising Star there, piling the pressure on Norris in front of him as we head down towards the bus stop chicane. Oh, Norris there almost outbroke himself and almost hit the back of the Ferrari driver. But Rising Star hits the back of him and he loses his momentum. And now Dominic goes up into P3. It was like a Costina effect going in towards the bus stop there as we head down towards turn 1 for the first time. Look at the Ferrari driver up the inside of Samir. He looks very competitive as well on those hardcore power tyres. His hards, you would have thought at this stage would have been a disadvantage. But look at these two. They're about to go wheel to wheel, are they? Let's see, up through Eau Rouge and Radion. Keep it nice and tidy. They can. Wow, side by side through Eau Rouge and Radion. Both drivers bravery there. First, now head on towards the Kemmel Straight with the DRS wide open. Here comes the Red Bull of Jensen. Could we make it 3 abreast as we head down in towards the com? Jensen can make it 2 for 1. On the brakes we go. The Ferrari stays there in P5, but he does go off the circuit, which means I think he might get a chance of warning for that one. So maybe 2 more warnings for him, and he will get a penalty. Be very careful around the track as well, because it's so easy to pick up penalties and warnings, especially in towards the com, because you arrive there at high speed. And if you don't have the grip there as well, you can go off the track easily as well. We've seen that plenty of times with Fireblaze now up into P13 ahead of Vettel. As Fireblaze is still in the Alpine from last season up into P13. And let's see if he could charge on and chase after the rest of the field. So the top 15 then in a one big DRS train. Of course, the dirty air will start to affect the engine will overheat as well. So you got to be manageable. You got to be cautious, especially in this DRS train, because it's so easy to lose the balance of the car, especially in these mid-speed, high-speed corners. As we get on the power once again towards Stavler we go. As Velocev Jr. is still leading the Grand Prix. I believe he took pole here last season too, and he's leading the Grand Prix in Division 1. He was a Division 2 driver as well a couple of seasons ago, and he's here leading a Division 1 race. So what a great start to his campaign this season in Division 1. And he'll be very happy and pleased with it so far, but there's 20 laps left to go. Still in the Grand Prix, a long way to go. He's leading. Let's see if he's calm and composed under pressure and has the pace to go with it. He's got some pace this season, hasn't he? Has Velocev Jr. And he looks like a real contender so far, but it's obviously the early stage of the season. His campaign in Division 1 starts right now, here at his home Grand Prix. What a place starts as well in Belgium. It's been on the calendar since 1950, the official Formula 1 World Championship. As Norris gets closer and closer, will he go for a move? He will. Around the outside he goes, in towards the car he goes. And let's see, can he make it stick? He goes a bit wide, and Velocev Jr. gets ahead. And there was a bit of contact too there for good measure, tyre to tyre, as Dominic there, the German driver, hits the back of the kick-saber. So Norris tried it, but outbroke himself with a bit deep, and therefore Velocev Jr. took back the place. He lost for a few seconds and back up into first place. It tells me the inside line is the better way to go, or get fully ahead before Lacombe. So Norris tried it twice, but on both times he's failed. But he's still there in P2, put the pressure on. He knows he's got the priority in P2. He knows he can control this race speed in P2. Use the DRS the back of Velocev Jr. It's all about being patient and smart as well. You don't necessarily want to go for it in the early stage of the Grand Prix. It's nice to be in first place, get clear, but at the same time though, you've got to think long and hard ahead. Because if you make any mistakes, the guys behind you will capitalise and gain those places too. So it's all about being smart as well, being methodical, being clever. That's what Harry Kane was good at as well. That was his strengths as Harry Kane for a driver. He always, despite having 11 wins in season 16, still managed to find a way to win the Grand Prix. There's no way the Boston Chicane would go for it. Nope, he doesn't, but he gets hit by the Red Bull behind, and again then, so the Red Bull driver can be very careful as Rise of Star is looking to take back P3 after he lost it at the start of the Grand Prix, as now we head on to lap 4 with all these drivers pushed up behind as we head down in towards turn 1. Anyone looking for a move? Yes, he is. In towards turn 1, he goes, contact with 3 abreast as well. That was the save from Jensen, but it didn't pay off. And here comes the racing ball along the outside of Mr. Joker as well. He tries to go down the inside, but there were 3 abreast in towards turn 1. 3 abreast never goes well. As for Verstappen, Raikkonen and Sebastian Vettel back in 2016, when those 3 made contact, and I think all 3 of them were out of the Grand Prix except Raikkonen that day. But very costly moment indeed. It could have broken the train, as here comes Maramino right behind the racing ball, but can't get past on this occasion. He looks very good in those hardcore power tyres. Is able to keep up with the train in the early stage of the Grand Prix, keep up with those medium runners, and stay attached to this DRS train. That's very handy for him later in the Grand Prix when he puts on the Brennus and Mini Compound tyres as well. So he's looking very strong in P5 for the time being. His pace is relatively good against the other people in first, second to the fourth there as well. So keeping up good pace. But behind us, there's been a bit of a detachment from the train. I think Joram, it's Joram, Romovaj and Vettel as well. So those guys have been detached from this train. It's a shame as well, because Romovaj has good pace. So does Joram on his day. But unfortunately, they're outside the DRS train. And you know what happens when you're outside the DRS train? You can't get yourself back in there. Back towards the front of the field. It's getting mighty close there. When is Norris going to decide he's going to take the lead of the Grand Prix? As we head through Blodgepon we go. You can see these guys harvesting and saving battery there as we head down towards the Boston Chicane we go. Any moves so far? The Red Bull doing a dummy down the inside as we head towards the farthest corner of this racetrack. Velocev Jr. still leads this Grand Prix, but for how much longer? Because there's a whole bunch of cars ready to pass him at any given moment. And number 77 behind him as here comes the Ferrari on the inside in towards turn 1. He's super close. Can he make it stick there? Let's see which one of these two get a better exit with the level pegging. But it seems like the Ferrari there just has the advantage. But no, the racing ball stays ahead of Rise of Star for the time being then. Rise of Star stays ahead of the Ferrari, but he's right behind as we climb towards Eau Rouge and Redion. So this could be a chance to overtake. But look at the top 3, all so close together with the DRS there. So let's see what happens. Could be changes as we go 3 abreast once again. And that's Jensen taking 2 for 1 as we head down towards the con we go. Norris around the outside, in towards turn 5. The side by side, no space given between Velocev Jr. and Norris there. More contact involved as well. Super scary there from Aldous. Around the outside 3 times. I think he just needs to back off and just bide his time and wait for the right opportunity. And Mercedes Adams has gone for a spin at the exit of Lacombe, I think it is. It is. Adams has gone for a spin, unfortunately, so he's dropped backwards there. But notice, is he being a bit too aggressive as well? Because he's risking it, a chance there against Velocio Jr., but I think he needs to wait for the right opportunity as well. Save the battery, keep the guys behind. I commentated the race around here a few days ago, or a week ago, and second place basically stayed behind first place, saved his battery, saved his tyres, wasn't pushing too hard, he wasn't risking anything as well, keeping the rest of the guys behind, because first and second place has the advantage, as it's so difficult to overtake in a DRS train. So Dominic will have a hard time overtaking, as you've seen, but Nordis is reacting to Dominic as well, so he wants to keep that Red Bull behind him as much as he can and keep the Ferrari in front of him. But you're in a really good spot in P2. These two are fighting for the first win in Division 1, Velocio Jr. and Nordis. Nordis' last chance was back at the Chinese Grand Prix. Did Clark overshoot the chicane? I'm not quite sure there, as the Williams in the background loses traction and the Alpine takes advantage. That's 5 blades ahead of Samid before the first corner. As we head down towards La Source we go then, as all these cars are in one big DRS chain. We've seen a few moves from Nordis, a few exchanges from Nordis and Velocio Jr., but so far the Ferrari driver is able to keep Nordis right behind him too, as the DRS once again has been enabled. You can see him use a lot of batteries while on the straight, trying to get closer and closer, but battery is also key as well, as Mercedes has retired in the pit lane. He is out of the Grand Prix, as the Ferrari there looking for a move, but can't quite get him. He's looking very good so far, and maybe at the stage of the Grand Prix, his hardcore powered tyres will be relatively better in comparison towards those on the mediums. And no way, Nolan's going to go around the outside towards Ravage. It looks like he's quicker and faster so far, but doesn't want to make the moves in the wrong places, as Ravage has gone for a spin there as well. The exit of Lacombe, the top of turn 7. It's a massive shame there for Ravage and Yoram too. On their day, they could be super quick, but today in Belgium, it's not going well for them at all, as we watch these guys still fight over first place. It's a big DRS trade as well, as Jensen's up into 5th place. He overtook Rising Star and Yusuf too. Couldn't quite get past the Ferrari, but surely the Ferrari in 4th place, Amin, is surely quicker than the rest of the guys on the hardcore powered tyres. You know what the tyre life is around here. As some people in Division 2 did a 2-stop, and it didn't pay dividends for them at all during the course of the Grand Prix. As we ran up over these guys there, coming through Blanchimon. Velocio Jr. has done a mega job to keep these guys right behind him too. Nordis has put such a much pressure as the Ferrari in the background looking for a move, but he's too far back. It's always nice to see moves down the Boston chicane, but Nordis is in the pit lane then. That is quite early to go in the pit lane. He just kept it within the speed limit. Ellie says what happened to Vettel. I think he just ran out of talent, to be honest with you. He kept making mistakes left, right, and centre, so unfortunately Vettel, he's way down the order, but Nordis has pulled the trigger then. Ellie supported 2 people here tonight. She supported the boyfriend of Nordis and also supporting her man, Nathan. Sorry, her brother of Nathan, sorry. So she supported 2 people here tonight, as he rejoins on the hardcore power tyres in 12th place. As we go on board with Rising Star, look at him right behind the RP driver, but couldn't get the overspeed he needed to get past Jensen there. All having DRS on the straight. Oh, look at that, you can see him really sliding as well. Is Rising Star. Those tyres are starting to give the ghost, but I wonder as well, pitting lap 6, is that a bit too early? He's looking to do the undercut on the rest of the guys ahead of him and build up a gap when those guys pit. But that could be a bit too early, I dare say. I don't think it's a 2-stop strategy either, to be honest with you, because the 2-stop is just too slow. You don't want to be doing a second stop, especially around Belgium as well, because we have minimised lap time, because the distance is longer, so therefore the laps are shorter. 22 laps around here is quite a short distance as well around the Arden Forest, so making up that lost time would be quite impossible too. So he's pulled the trigger very early, has Nordis in 12th place on the bonus hardcore power tyres, whilst Velocio Jr. then, what do you think about pitting now or extending? In the race I commentated, people pitted around lap 9, 10, 11, 12, but lap 7 is a bit too early, I dare say, so he could be in a bit of bother towards the Grand Prix in terms of tyres. Was his mini compound tyres going very early? Were they fading away? Or was he just trying to do an undercut and get ahead of those guys as well? So let's see if anybody else responds on this lap to see if they're going to pit lane. Nope. Every single driver out there is continuing then. So Nordis there could have put a blinder or blunder. I'm not quite sure. We'll find out towards the end of the Grand Prix what his tyres are like towards the end. But surely he has the massive overcut or undercut on these guys ahead. But these guys When they put over to the hardcore powered tyres, they'll be a lot quicker than Norris towards the Grand Prix and therefore hunt him down. So these guys are a massive disadvantage so far on the medium powered tyres, but extending and doing a massive offset is a lot better as well, and having better tyres towards the Grand Prix will help you. As we see, the Racing Bulls getting close together, Yusuf and Rising Star, as we head down in towards the Calm We Go. Yusuf in Division 1 this season, he was in Division 2 in Season 17, but he's doing a mega job so far, keeping up with these guys in front of us. He's ahead of his experienced teammate Rising Star, and Rising Star too. In 16th place there, in Season 17. He was a contender for victories and wins, but I don't think he won last season. He was super close back in Abu Dhabi, but he didn't unfortunately win. He put up a few podiums too. He was always a contender, but the problem was his tyre management was a big problem in terms of managing tyres, because always in the first stint he just dropped away. He couldn't really find a balance, keep the car in control, keep the temperatures at the optimum window, and he's actually dropped outside the DRS range of his own teammate too, so he's really struggling there in P6. The gap is 1.1 seconds between himself and his teammate, and Velocio Jr. is pulled away too. The gap is 1.1 between himself and Dominic there, so he's built up a gap, and both Ferraris are looking really strong so far. Watch out for them towards the Grand Prix, because they'll be hunting down Aldous as well with those better medium/hardcore powered tyres, because Mo is going for a brand new set of mediums later on in the Grand Prix. And Velocio Jr., he goes deeper towards the breaker zone, and there are people in front of us are pitting. So those guys have had enough of the midi powered tyres. We talked about the tyre life as well. Once the tyres go off the cliff, that's it. You just struggle to keep the car in control. But here are these guys pitting then onto another set of the hardcore powered tyres. Noda surely has a massive gap over the rest of the guys behind. As Jensen has to wait, but hopefully that's a bit of a glitch there. That's just a bit of lag. And he rejoins way ahead. So Notice now, where will he rejoin? He's in P7. He has a massive gap towards the Grand Prix. There's his rival behind him, and the gap is about 2.4 seconds there. And that's the gap we just keep an eye on. And Junior towards the Grand Prix will have the best tyres. So let's see then if those guys bring that gap down. Can Notice now, with clear air, nobody in front of him except Adams, who surely will pit late and will pit early in the Grand Prix as well. But behind us is Dominic. Here he is, then on a charge in the Red Bull, and he goes up into P8 in the Grand Prix, and net P2 or 3, shall I say. And he puts himself ahead of the Ferrari driver for the time being. Then I don't think Velocio Jr. cares that much, because he knows he could stay behind the DRS of Dominic, and his main target is Noldus. I think these two, knowing Noldus is on older tyres by 2 laps, and trust me, 2 laps does make a big difference in this game as well. Tyre life is so important as well in this game. It looks like the Ferrari driver is struggling a bit twitchy there as well. It looks like he's doing multiple corrections of the steering, heading down towards P1. But Jensen's in P10 too on a bonus set of hardcore powered tyres. Sam is there in 11th place. Sam did not get the undercut. He pitted the same time as Noldus, and he didn't get the undercut. It tells you how far back he was as well, unfortunately, for the RP driver. So his strategy hasn't worked off. He's lost a lot of places too as Samid. What's actually happened to him? Because we didn't quite see. Or unless he's just plainly struggling on pace, that could be the explanation for that lack of pace there in 11th place. Belgium is quite difficult, as Yusuf is in the pit lane to get rid of his medium powered tyres. So Velocio Jr., Jensen and Rising Star all looking to do the offset by being on better tyres towards the Grand Prix and hunting down the rivals on a newer set, as Samin has now set the rest of the Grand Prix. As out comes the Racing Bull, he rejoined all the way to the back, but Vettel's retired in the pit lane, so he is out of the Grand Prix, and the gap's still 2.5 seconds, and Velocio Jr. is struggling to keep up with Dominic, so the gap's almost 1 second there. So I wonder on the hardcore powered tyres, is he struggling to warm them up? We'll have Jensen on the back of him anytime shortly, but the DRS will keep him in play, and Rising Star gets ahead of Samid. Very important move as well to keep up with the rest of the field. It's like the same reoccurring story as well, the same theme. Rising Star just struggled to stay within the DRS in the first stint. Brazil was a good example. Every single race he participated in, he just really did struggle to keep the tyres alive and keep the car in well balanced and check as well. Just struggling for pace, just pure pace he was struggling for, and kept dropping down the order. I really hope the problem was fixed as well for him, but it hasn't seemed to be fixed just yet for the Racing Bull driver. Although I did have the same problem myself last season, so to be fair, it is quite difficult, especially when a controller trying to keep the tyres alive. Maybe he has the qualified pace, but in terms of the race pace, that's where he does lack a bit. So it's essential for him to work on his race pace And actually, the Ferrari drivers dropped away in the DRS range of the Red Bull. So he had a mighty pace their first stint, but all of a sudden, it seems like he's just checked out a bit as Velocio Jr. So he's pushing really hard. His ERS is so low, and Dominic is 2 seconds behind. It is very important for Norris to keep that gap over a second if he can. I don't know how he's going to do it, but he's got to do it, because if that gap comes under a second, then unfortunately for him, you won't be able to break away, because the power of the DRS will be strong as well, and also the tyre life will be better. So Norris, this race, you've got to be very careful in third place. Push as hard as you can in third place too. We're at half race distance, lap 11 out of 22. It seems like a quiet race so far, but we should have more action towards the end, because Dominic's tyres are in fourth place. Dominic seems like he's really comfortable so far in P4. Really comfortable, breaking the gap over Velocio Jr. His pace has seemed to be stored out a bit as well in fifth place. And Jensen is about to overtake him as well. Here he is, Jensen around the outside. He takes away sixth place ahead of the Ferrari driver as well. And next target is Dominic. Can he get himself in DRS range of Dominic and make it a three-way scrap for provisional first place? Sorry about that, I pressed the mute button and the home button at the same time. I was taking a sip of water. So we're back live on the circuit, and so far we're halfway in towards this Grand Prix. Moenimo's in first place. He's on the hardcore power tyres, of course, so he's taken a long way. And let's see if that pays dividends for him later on the Grand Prix too, by putting a new semi-medical power tyres and hunting down the rest of the field. Jensen's still a second away, but Dominic is closing at a rapid rate of knots as well. So Norris pitting first hasn't really benefited him, unfortunately. It has in terms of track position, but it seems like Dominic is closing in and he's almost under a second as well. I thought it was a bit too early to put on lap 6 towards 7 there. It doesn't seem like an early pit stop for Norris, and maybe he is paying the price, or definitely pay the price towards in the Grand Prix, when he starts to feel the effects of the hardcore power tyres going away for him. And also, Amino's in the pit lane, Burmeister's in the pit lane to get rid of the hardcore power tyres. A bit too early in my opinion, but let's see what the situation like for them towards in the Grand Prix. How fast will they be on the new set of mini-cut power tyres as Jensen now sets the fast lap of the Grand Prix? He's been quite a few moves this race, hasn't he, as Jensen? Put in some very risky moves indeed, but made it work. We went three abreast towards turn 1. Contact was made, but luckily no wings were broken at that time. And Jensen is 6 tenths away from Dominic then. So Jensen's found some blistering pace. He was the winner of the last race this season. And towards this season, in season 18, he looks like he's a contender as well. Very strong drive for Jensen once again. He took 3 or 4 wins last season, did Jensen. In Mexico, it went horribly wrong for him because he did inter, then dry. He wanted to do inter, dry because it stopped raining as well back in Mexico, and it really cost him as well. But Jensen's always had some blistering pace. It's just about his attendance as well, because I know he can't make every single race, Jensen, but still, every time he does make a race, he always has good pace. I remember last race in Belgium as well, in season 17, where he spun out of turn 1. Remember that? I think he was leading the Grand Prix, and all of a sudden he just spun around, or half spun, but kept the car going, and he lost a chance for a podium/win too on that occasion. So redemption here in Belgium for Jensen, as his teammate, or shall I say Kanane, won the Grand Prix. So Dominic, the gap is under a second between himself and Norris. So Norris' strategy hasn't paid out for him at all. Maybe a podium is on the cards, but we'll see. I'm not quite sure what happened to Velocio Jr.'s pace as well on the hardcore hard tyres. Use the hardcore hard tyres as a better tyre. I prefer the hards instead of the mediums, because the mediums for me feel like a horrible race tyre as well. They just seem to just drop off. Like, the peak performance goes very quickly and you literally have no grip at all. But on the hardcore hard tyres, it's just much better to be on. Even at the start of the Grand Prix too. I do find it better. Maybe I should start using them more too. But here we go with the DRS wide open for Dominic in the Red Bull. But I wonder, what will he do? How will he play this out? Will he stay behind Norris and wait for the right time, right opportunity? He's been a bit deeper towards the con, but nothing too harmful there for Dominic. Then go off the track. Didn't see challenges there. Yusuf gets ahead of Clark. He puts himself up into P9, but Clark's still fighting back around the outside, but there's no space given there, no room. And Yusuf stays ahead for the time being in P9. Yusuf pitted quite late too, hence why he's down in P9. Fireblaze is up into P8 too, so Fireblaze somewhere got past the RB driver, but the main driver I'm focused on too is the Ferrari man in P7 on the brand new medium compound tyres, and he'll be rapid towards in the Grand Prix. How many places can he make up? His pace in the first stint was incredible, and let's see what he tries to inspire over to the medium compound tyres. His next target is Samid in front of us. Samid vulnerable with nobody in front of him. DRS will be enabled for the Ferrari driver, and hopefully he can get past him with ease as well on those medium compound tyres. Got Fireblades right behind him. I wonder if those medium compound tyres might drop off towards the end as well. So despite being the faster tyres now, will they start to give the ghost later on the Grand Prix? But the top three under a second of each other too. There we are in the clear picture and view. The top three all close together. The fight for the lead continues, and Norris finds himself under massive pressure. The 2-lap difference in tyres as well between himself and Dominic in P2. Jensen right behind in P3. All three of them very quick drivers. We didn't see much of Dominic either last season, because every time he raced as well last year in season 17, he DNF'd and did not start. So we have no idea what happened to his pace. But here he is. He's about to take the lead of the Grand Prix side by side with Norris as he puts himself into first place. The question is now, can Norris stick at the back of the Red Bull? Does he still have the pace to match the pace of Dominic and still fight him towards the last stage of the Grand Prix? I think that's what Norris could do, and Samuel has now picked up a 3-second penalty. The only driver in the field to pick up a penalty in this Grand Prix. So Velocio Jr. seems like he's out of the picture now. He's in 4th place. Rise's start is catching him slowly but surely. He has Mo behind him on a new set of the medium compound tyres, hunting him down too. It's a shame for Velocio Jr. people, because his pace was absolutely mighty. The man up to pole was controlling the race in the first stint, and all of a sudden he finds himself off the podium with P4 and having no pace and under pressure soon from Rise's start. So he's not really had the pace in the second stint to keep up with the guys ahead. The guys ahead have checked out, and Jensen is right behind Norris as well. Dominic, in his first official race as a full-time driver in the Red Bull, in first place. Usually last season it was Harry Kane and Beremy as teammates in the Red Bull camp, but this season the seats have changed around, and he is in the Red Bull this season, and he's currently controlling this race as Norris is in the pit lane. That is a 2-stop strategy, and he feels like the hardcore powered tyres will not go towards him in the Grand Prix, and his strategy has not worked at all. He's pitted too early. So those guys have gone for a 2-stop strategy. It is a 1-stop. It's all about managing your tyres in the first stint. That's a new set of hardcore powered tyres attached to the car. And yes, he'll be rapid towards the end, but he won't have the laps either to catch those guys towards the end of the Grand Prix. So what a shame for Norris there. The 2-stop strategy will not work at all, unfortunately, unless it's a safety car, of course. But even if a safety car came out now, it still won't work for him, as the guys ahead will have the advantage of pit 2. What a shame for the Sauber driver there. Tried the 2-stop, but it just won't work for him. Velocio Jr. is back at the podium in P3. But Rise Stark still could catch him, but he keeps that gap towards 1.4, 1.5. So relatively stable pace there from Velocio Jr. to keep him P3. So it's down to these two, the Brit versus the German. Dominic in the Red Bull versus Jensen in the Alpine. Jensen looking for a second win in a row after winning at the British GP last year on the last game. Will he continue his momentum in towards this game by winning 2? Jensen, I dare say, is a real contender for the championship. Every time he races, he's always shown some outstanding staggering pace as well. But sometimes it can go wrong for him as well. Back in Belgium last season, when he struggled out of turn 1, struggled to get the power down and lost traction. There is 7 laps to go in the Grand Prix, and Jensen and Dominic in close contention of each other for the lead of the Grand Prix. And Jensen started down in P8 and Dominic started at P6, so they started further down the field, but they've had some blistering pace as well to make their way back up there. Fireblaze 2, good race for him in P6, a quiet race for the Dutchman. He's just there in the background. He just exited the final corner. What could he have done if qualifying, if he got the lap time hooked up? And also intrigued to see what Fireblaze could do this season, because as you've seen, his progress as well last year was fantastic, but at the same time though, he was a bit cautious. And here comes Jensen there. Will he take the lead of the Grand Prix? Let's see if he goes down the inside in towards turn 1. No, turn 5, sorry. No, he doesn't. He stays behind for the time being, but Jensen doesn't have to rush this. He knows he's got about 6 laps to go. Maybe go for the overtake on the last lap, because he knows he has the advantage with DRS on that straight. And it's all about being clever as well, where you place your car at this moment in the Grand Prix. Burmeister gets ahead of Glock. He's also on a bonus mini compound tyres, up into P7. And last year, Division 2, Burmeister had a difficult race because he was sick. He was on a winning streak and a podium streak, but that ended because he fell down the stairs, I think. And he was ill that day too. But he's in P7 right now in the Williams. It's a good first impression for Division 1 there for Burmeister in 7th place in the Williams there. Keeping up some good form and good pace too. As Mo is right behind Rising Star, so good pace there in the Ferrari. Could he be on course for a podium, I wonder? Let's see. First driver he has to dispatch is Rising Star in P4, so let's see how quickly he can get past him as he puts pressure on the back of Rising Star. He's right behind him, Blanchimon. Will he go for a move down towards the bus of chicane, or will he think about it and wait behind him? He does wait behind for the time being, so maybe a move going down in towards the calm, in towards turn 5. When he gets past him, the Russia Junior's teammates will be there for the taking too. As we head down towards turn 1, does not go for the move just yet, so he's being patient, being smart about it, not wanting to risk anything, knowing there's a potential P4 or podium on the cards for him on those better mini compound tyres. So surely has to run up towards Eau Rouge and Radio, but Jensen's right behind Dominic. I don't think Jensen will overtake a Willie. We'll have to find out right now if he does go for the overtake. Look at that, 350 kilometers an hour. As he does, we go side by side between the two leaders, and Jensen goes up into first place, but will he regret that? As Mo goes up into 4th place ahead of the racing ball. So 5 for the lead and a 5 for the podium too. Can Mo catch his teammates for the battle for P3 in the race? I think in the next race, Norris will learn as well that the two-star strategy was not the way to go. He had great pace in the wet, but he took a risk, he took a gamble, which didn't pay off, unfortunately. Whether he knew the one-stop was not going to work, or his tyres was just simply going off, because you never know if his tyres could be just plainly going off there, having no grip, and the setup as well not working towards his favour. The tyres just taking too much life out of him every single lap. I'm not quite sure if Norris could have made it towards the end or not, but was that the plan the whole time? I wonder, to deal with two-stop strategy. Either way, it hasn't worked out, and he's paid the consequences in P10. I know two-stop looks like a faster way to go on the track, but I've experienced it many times as myself as a commentator and a league racer as well. As Jensen goes deep in towards the Boston chicane, and Dominic will put pressure on him, but the one-stop is always the way to go. It's just about treating your tyres very nicely too, not taking too much out of them in the first stint. That's why you see nobody go for moves in the first stint. They're just trying to make sure they look after the tyres, then push later on towards the end of the first stint, then push hard in the second stint too to make it all up. Tyre life is a killer around this game as well, so that's why people are doing two-stops, including me. I can't save tyres either. I'm very bad at managing my tyres. It's all about what setup you have as well for the races. Here comes Dominic, and back for the lead of the Grand Prix as he puts himself into first place again. Look at Fireblaze as well, not too far behind. He's in P6, putting pressure on Rising Star in front of him. So great pace from the RP driver there in 6th place. A man who got himself a validation in qualifying. Out of place in 15th place, but here he is on the back of the racing ball. Oh, massive understeer, you can see there. A lot of steering put applied for the RP driver, and the tyres, the front tyres just washed away. Didn't have the grip going down into towards the Forge. Here he is in P6. Look at Mo. He is 1.3 seconds behind, so he's taking a bit of time out of his teammate. Not too much though. So Velocio Jr. is pushing as hard as he can to make sure his teammate doesn't get a DRS range of him. Otherwise, a fight for the podium will be happening between two Ferrari drivers. And at his home Grand Prix, in his first race in Division 1 this season, I'm deadly sure that Velocio Jr. would love to get a podium as well for his first race here in Division 1. And that'll be a good statement to make as well, because he's got some mighty pace on this game. His teammate though is closing in bit by bit. The gap is 1.1 seconds then, so I think it's a matter of time. Is it if or when he catches up? I think it's when he catches up, because he's got a good pace there, the Ferrari. But I wonder his mini compound tyres though, how good are they? What state are those tyres are in? Good enough though to keep up with his teammate, and Fireblaze is right behind Rising Star once again as we head down in towards turn 1. It's been a shame for both Racing Bull drivers, because they were there, weren't they, in the initial phase of the Grand Prix. They were there, fighting and in that train of the leaders, but Throughout the course of the Grand Prix, they slowly went backwards and got detached from the train. Their race pace longevity, unfortunately, hasn't shown once again. And we've got Jensen then re-overtaking Dominic for the lead of the Grand Prix, and Mo is in DRS range of his own teammate then. So we've got a battle for the lead and battle for P3, and Fireblaze does get ahead. He puts himself up into P5 ahead of Rising Star, and Noldus gets ahead of Yusuf, yep, so Yusuf Farouk, the Egyptian in the Racing Bull. Noldus is now up into P9. He's not Egyptian, is he? He's Romanian. Both Yusufs are Romanian. For some reason, I thought they were Egyptians. I'm not quite sure why. Glock, Nordus versus Burmeister. They should be easy pickings because Nordus is on better hardcore pod tyres, so his resurgence to the field, he's coming back, but unfortunately, he won't get back to second or third place where he was earlier. I think he should have followed the rest of the train, Nordus, in P9 there, just trying to extend the first in. He was in the DRS train, so just follow what the rest of the pack were doing. But hindsight's a wonderful thing. In the moment, you think it's the right thing to do, but it's not, unfortunately for him. So, the timer is ticking down. There is 3 laps left to go in the Grand Prix, and the battle of the lead is Dominic and Jensen. If Mo overtakes Velocio Jr., I don't know if he'll catch the top 2. It's a tall order, especially with 3 laps left to go. And look at this, Mo's right behind his teammate too. So Velocio Jr., who was on the podium, may find himself off it towards the end of the lock-on. His teammates right behind him in the slipstream and DRS. Better tyres, up the hill we go. DRS the battery, he pulls out to the left side and he takes the lead, takes third place away from Velocio Jr. as well. Great pace from Mo as well. His first race of the season here, as Adams has retired in the pit lane. He's out of the Grand Prix. The gap is 3 seconds between himself and Dominic, so I don't think he'll get those two. It's just down to these two to decide who will win the Belgium Grand Prix for the first race of the season. In the first stint, we had a massive DRS train, but it all separated, and every single driver got distributed around the circuit as well. The gaps are quite big as well in between each driver. Ever since the first round of pit stops started to happen, each driver found themselves in their own places and running their own races, it must be said, especially Fireblaze and P5. Surely you think Dominic will be smart to go from the last lap as well of the Grand Prix. Try and save a battery, try and get as much battery as he can, store it up and use it all on the last lap of the Grand Prix. And we'll see if Jensen can respond, because the counter-attack as well from Jensen could be quite powerful for him. He knows that Dominic will possibly go for the last lap, so therefore he can save a battery on lap 21 and try and use it all in defense mode as well. It's been very interesting to see how these two play out and see what happens here. Will there be any gamesmanship between these two? Any DRS gains between these two? As Dominic there gets a massive wobble on out of the Buster chicane, he goes. The two Ferraris are behind us, and Fireblaze too. Fireblaze has had a steady race in P5. Good pace from the RP driver. Slowly but surely made his way back to the field in P5. Maybe a podium for him if Mo can't pull away on this lap, because his teammate's right there for the taking as well. As we make our way towards overreach of the gap, it's 8 tenths per second there, so not a comfortable gap there for Dominic, but a comfortable gap for Jensen as well. His ERS is looking very low too, is the Red Bull driver. Jensen's ERS management has been very good so far, and it could help him as well win the Grand Prix when we head on to lap 22. Out of 22, the final lap of the Grand Prix will happen very shortly, and Jensen there, who won the British GP last year on the F1 game, who could be taking his second victory in a row in style as well on a brand new game. Let's see if Jensen then can stay ahead of Dominic on the last few laps of the Grand Prix. Jensen DNF'd back at the Mexican Grand Prix after choosing the wrong strategy. Then he came back to win 3 in a row: Hungary, Imola and Austria. Then he went backwards to Belgium because he split out of turn 1 at the Belgium Grand Prix. Picked up a podium back in Abu Dhabi and Brazil too. He picked up a podium back in Qatar and Canada, and also Las Vegas. Picked up multiple podiums that season too. 7 podiums as well. Same with Caname, who had 7 podiums that season too. But Jensen took 4 wins last season at the last one of the British GP. The gap is 1.4. He's broken the DRS then, and Jensen looks like he's on course to win the Grand Prix. Wow. Great pace to break away from the DRS, especially on the driver who is on the same set of tyres as you as well. So Great pace there from Jensen to pull away over a second. And I think that's it there for the Belgian Grand Prix. As Dominic locks up Lando Norris did in towards turn 1, has a massive lock up on the inside. The battle for P3 still could be on, but Vlotchev Jr. is 1 second back, so Fireplace could potentially get Junior for P4. As we climb towards Eau Rouge, ready for the final time in this Grand Prix. There is no lead for the battle of the Grand Prix because Jensen's checked out, he's pulled away, and he's shown his true pace, his true mettle. In the background, here comes Fireblaze, then Fireblaze will take away 4th place as he puts the Alpine up into 4th and ahead of Vlotchev Jr. A great comeback drive for the Alpine driver. What could it have been if that mistake didn't happen in qualifying? And notice this up into P6 as well. A terrible strategy for him. A 2-stop which did not work at all in his favour. We speeding through down towards Jackie Eats corner, now coming towards Pure Mago, where Lando Norris as well made a mistake in the F1 race a few days ago. As we head towards a iconic corner, the final chicane, a grey chicane, can be very difficult too. As we saw Antonio Giovinazzi crash there back in 2020, took out George Russell too in the process. It's the final sector now. We're headed towards the final sector, and Jensen has built up a gap of 1.4 seconds. In the first race of the season, he has done an absolute mighty job. He started down in P8. He made his way up to the field as well, overtaking drivers aggressively, making contact with them, but he made it stick. He's shown some fantastic moves in the field too. Here he is towards the Boston chicane for the final time in this race. We can see him in the pictures. It's the first race of the season. The first race belongs towards Jensen, who wins the Belgian Grand Prix. And here comes Dominic in P2, and Mo just holds onto the podium in P3 too, ahead of Fireblaze. And here comes the Kickstarter of Nordis and Vlotchev Jr. Raz Star finishes at P7 clock in 8th ahead of Yusuf, Burmeister 10th, 7-11th ahead of Ramovaj in 12th. The DNS for Adams, Vettel and Joram. They unfortunately retired from the race. And that is it for the Belgian Grand Prix. Great race as well, great opening start to a race this season. Jensen wins, back-to-back wins for Jensen, winning at the British GP in season 17 and winning here in Belgium as well. A great start to his campaign, and let's see what he could do from there, the momentum and build up for the championship as well. So let's see then what Jensen could do in the next coming races. That's your race classifications. It's Jensen who wins the British GP, the Belgian Grand Prix, sorry, from 8th place. Dominic in P2 ahead of Mo. Fireblaze in 4th for 14th. Great drive for him. The pole man sadly slipped down into P5. And Aldous in P6 with that 2-stop strategy did not work at all. Rise Star P7 ahead of Glock. Yusuf and Burmaster rounds off the top 10 with 7th and 11th place ahead of Ramovaj and DNS for Adams, Vettel and also Joram, who did not finish the race. But the podium, the race winner is in the podium. And Jensen, what a rollercoaster race, mate. From start to P8, you made some aggressive moves as well, especially down towards turn 1 when it was 3 abreast. I didn't have you to win the Grand Prix because of the way you started, but what a drive, mate. It took us through your race.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, like you said, that turn 1 move was a bit over ambitious from me, so yeah, sorry to those guys, but I think we just got out of it unscathed, fortunately, so we were able to carry on. But yeah, qualifying didn't really go so well. Lost a lot of time on my final run, but it was very close between everyone, really. It was like half a second between top 10, so fair play to everyone there. But yeah, it was tricky getting past everyone. I just had to look for the opportunities, and yeah, many opportunities I tried were missed. But I tried to do it off strategy anyways, and wanted to go early, given how we were getting stuck behind these lot, and in the end I managed to seem to make my tyres last a bit better than everyone else. I was able to put in the pace of the final few laps.
Yeah, stagger a pace from you there as well. And also the final lap of the Grand Prix, on lap 21 or 20, you had you had Dominic, who was very close towards you as well. Were you nervous about him getting you towards the last Grand Prix? But actually, just broke away from the DRS. And where did that pace come from on the last Grand Prix to break away from the DRS when Dominic was right there?
Yeah, I don't know. He had some really decent pace, but I think maybe it's a bit harsher on the tyres. I don't know what wings he was running, but it was rapid on the straights. So when I got past him and saw him drop away, I just tried getting him to push, and yeah, I don't know if that kind of caused a chain reaction, but I managed to get 1.4 out of Stavolo going into the final lap, and yeah, I felt comfortable then.
And congratulations on your first win of the season as well. And I mentioned as well, because last season you picked up 4 wins and you weren't too far in the championship considering the amount of DNSs you had. DNSs and did not starts. And DNF back in Mexico too when you chose the wrong strategy. But do you think, I know it's so early doors, but the question could be asked, I think you are a real contender to be in the championship, but got a long way to go. Do you think you can challenge for the championship this season?
Certainly hope so. I mean, I should be around for most races, if not all of them, so yeah, I think this will be the one for this game anyways, because I'm not really doing well elsewhere. Don't really play or don't drive so much anymore, but yeah, this is always a fun league, so it's always a fun race when I turn up on the Wednesdays, and yeah, always turns out to be a good championship, very competitive, so yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Jedson. And how do you feel for the Australian Grand Prix, which is next week?
Australia, good. Some good pace, so hopefully able to utilise that. I don't know, there's not a lot of traction zones like Spa. Seems to have a lot of like really long turns and stuff like that. But I've always gone well at Australia, so hopefully can repeat what I've done today. Maybe a better qualifying as well.
I'll be looking to do like a, let's say, 50.1, 40.9 in qualifying in Australia. Do you think that's possible?
I did a 15.0 in the first race I did, so yeah, looking about there, you're pretty much bang on, I'd say.
That was just a guess, by the way.
Yeah. It's not a bad guess.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah, that would be more or less what I'm aiming for. Maybe getting 14s, trying to improve.
Well, thank you very much, Jedson. And that is the end of the Belgium Grand Prix. Congratulations on the win. And that is it then. We move on to the Australian Grand Prix, which is usually the first race of the season in the normal F1 calendar. But Belgium wasn't a bad race. A wet qualifier session which really showcased the driver's skills and talent as well, as they had to tiptoe around those difficult conditions. But in the race, it was Jedson who came out top from 8th place. But join me back at 7:30 for Division 1. And hopefully there's more drivers this time. Hopefully we can make it a full grid, because I know at this time of the year...
Sorry, Jamie. Should I try and see if they want to get in for talks as well, or are we kind of past it?
What other people?
Yeah, the P2, P3. Dominic and...
Yeah, I don't have time, unfortunately. I didn't have time for you, but yeah,
that's
sorry about that.
That's alright. No, sorry for disrupting you. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries, mate. But join me back at 7:30. Join Smithy back at 8 o'clock for Division 3. Dan and Mobes for Division 2 at 7:30, and me for Division 1 at 7:30 on Wednesday as well. So see you all later. Goodbye for now, and hopefully as well, I might have a special guest appearing in the next couple of weeks, and we'll see if he does. And if he does, then I think you're in for a special partnership between me and this person. I think most of you know who it is, as I've worked with him plenty of times, and I really hope we can get him on board with an SFR too. But if not, it doesn't matter. I'll try and do my best to commentate for the whole season, but I'll see you all later. Goodbye for now.